Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is that you are listening, folks. Thank you very, very much for listening. The date is the 23rd, the month is February, and the year is 2026. Welcome to yet another edition of the Coping Hour, hosted by Nicholas Hinkle, a.k.a. Moton Noah. We are mere hours removed from the most inspirational, the most awe-inspiring, not the most improbable, but the most patriotic gold medal victory that you have seen since, probably since a year and a half ago when LeBron, Steph, and KD, when they won the gold medal. But we have another one. Not only do we have another one, what did the United States win this year? The Winter Olympics are done. I think it was 12 gold medals, I think was the final count, which I believe is the most that we've ever won. I don't know if it's in any Olympics or if it's just in the Winter Olympics, what the actual stat is. I swear to God, Michael Phelps won like 10 in 1 year. So I don't even, it's really too bad. So when Michael Phelps, was it Beijing in 2008 or was it London in 2012 that he was like the Wilt stat line meme and he won it wasn't literally 10 golds, but however many it was that he won. I guess it might have been both, but I think in Beijing is what I'm thinking of specifically, where I had just turned 10, so I didn't care about the Olympics. No, I didn't really care about the Olympics in the broader sense when I was a kid. Like, I cared about the basketball, and then otherwise, like, I remember the Summer Olympics just kind of being a thing that was either on passively in the house, or if we were over at somebody else's house, like for like a family thing or something. Like I have memories of like the Olympics being on in the background. I've always had more emotional investment and attachment to the Summer Olympics over the winter. I think most people are probably going to be that way. But boy, it was a fun. We really haven't talked about the Olympics at all since they've been on in Milan. So didn't mean to rhyme there. And I guess maybe we can just sort of do a sort of, in memoriam, of the 26 Winter Olympics. But we got to start. I mean, I started with the hockey thing. We got to start with the hockey thing. Holy smokes. The men and the women in the United States beating Canada in overtime. Both games beating Canada in overtime to win the gold. Holy smokes, brother. By the way, on the 46th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice, too. Really one of those, like, I sent a text. In retrospect, I feel like a Disney ass, this is such a corny text to send in retrospect. But I meant it. Like, as soon as this game was over, I just sent a text to a group chat. I was like, sports are crazy. Like, they're wild. You get the kids coming into the group photo, and oh my God, man, I got a tear going, and I just, again, on the anniversary of the truly the most improbable, and that wasn't even to medal. That game against beating the Soviets at the height of the Cold War, Miracle on Ice, that wasn't even a medal game. And so, but it's the anniversary of that, and to beat Canada, man, it always just feels, there's always just that extra juice in hockey. It's kind of like the way that I was talking about this with Maddie this morning, watching this game. And I was like, beating Canada at hockey is basically the same as beating England in soccer. Like, what was it? Was it 18 or 22? Which one did we not qualify for? Which World Cup did we not qualify for? It was either 18 or 22 that we drew against England. And it would have been so much better to, to get that win. But even a draw was hilarious. Even a draw was like, nice, fuck yes. It's the same thing here, only in the past. Like, I remember when Crosby, it was Crosby that had the OT winner. What would that have been? Were they 2010 is when the Winter Olympics would have been? Yeah, that's when it was. Yeah, I remember that. I don't remember what I remember about TJ Oshie and, like, was it penalty? Was it a shootout that he was in? I just remember him, with the Team USA jersey, but I don't remember what that would have been. Cause was he in it when there wasn't NHL players in it? Is that what I'm thinking of? What I remember TJ Oshie with the United States at some point in the middle of the 2010s. But man, this team and this whole tournament, it's funny. Canada basically played the same damn game the whole tournament. And the last 3 rounds, especially, they played the exact same game where they're like, call the ambulance, for 2.5 periods. And then in the end of it, it's, but not for me. If you want another verbal meme, Revenge of the Sith style. Honestly, when Emperor Palpatine is like, at that point, he's not, or he's Palpatine, but he's also, He's also what the hell is his alternate? What's his positive ego? What the fuck was his name? It's Emperor Palpatine? Jesus. Oh, I'm thinking of Sidious and Palpatine. That's where I'm getting confused. Okay, so he's like still kind of the good guy to Anakin. He's like, "Oh, I'm too weak. I'm too weak." And that's Canada. They'll go down 5 goals or they'll go down 3-0 and you're like, "Holy shit, 2-0. It's finally going to happen." No, and then more power, and then they throw Finland, they throw Sweden, they throw France, whoever the fuck, off of a cliff. This been every single game, and it goes to overtime, and it looks like Canada's going to lose, but they never lose because they're a well-oiled machine. This is in their blood. This is what they do, but for the United States to take it to overtime and that one goal lead, off of the first shot of the game, holy shit. What a miracle that was, A, when it happened, and B, as the game, continued to go on. What more and more of a miracle that it appeared to be. Because for essentially the entirety of this game, the entirety of regulation, Canada was dominating the game. And all it took was Connor McDavid, trying to play hero ball and, pushing on a 3v1. And then he just, I don't know. They're saying Connor McDavid's never going to win the big one. I don't know, folks. It's looking like that. It might be the case. I don't know. And you got Jack Hughes. The photos that are coming out of him, with the cracked teeth and the flag draped around him and shit like that. Jack Hughes plays in 30 minutes of real time. He went from getting a stick in his face and his teeth get cracked, which gave us a 5-on-3 advantage, and we're sending in a group chat this is it. This is the game. If they don't convert on this, this is the game. And then that ended up turning into Jack Hughes 2.5, 3 minutes later, committing a penalty. So it goes down to 4-on-4, but then Canada has the advantage for, there's 2 minutes left in the game, and they're going to be spending the next minute and a half on a damn advantage, whatever it was. And that was Jack Hughes' fault. And so then, 15 minutes later, once overtime starts, he's the one that finds the back of the net here in a moment, in a sequence, in a shot that will be immortalized for eternity. And what this means for, I don't know, just obviously we always like to make the joke where it's basically our sport anyways, because the last, what was it, since 1993, the Stanley Cup champions have been American. Now, obviously that's not a real, that's just kind of a haha meme to Canada thing. That's obviously not real, because it's not all of the teams that are in America are exclusively American. You know what I mean? So that's not an actually a real thing that you can say. But I don't know. It's just so damn cool. Again, what it means to beat the Canadians in both. What am I trying to say here? For the men and the women, again, both of them did it. And that women's game was electric. What are they calling that last goal? What a nasty little finish that was. Holy smokes. The Star Spangled Dangle? Is that what the Star Dangle Banner? Is that what they're calling that shot? Holy shit. What a goal that was. No, man, I really thought they were dead. I was like, well, that's too bad, but no, life like Jeff Goldblum style. Life finds a way. We get the gold medal, and it's crazy, man, that these guys just have to go. The Winter Olympics are so crazy when it comes to hockey because these guys are having the most adrenaline thumping, 2 weeks of their lives. Not even just the United States guys, especially the Canadians and, everybody else, Finland and whoever else was playing in the Slovakia who was in the bronze game. Anybody who was in this tournament, but specifically the Americans and the Canadians. Dog, in 3 days, they just go back to the regular season. It's the middle of the season, for real. And, we got a playoff push to do. The playoffs are, a month and a half away for them. But they just have to go. You know what I mean? That turnaround is so crazy. Because, in the NBA, whether it be FIBA or the Olympics, they got the season ends in June, and then the Olympics start, a month and a half later. And then, once they're done with that, they still got a few weeks before they got to go back to camp. And then, the season starts a month after that. There's just so much time. Boom. In the NHL, it's no, you're starting back up immediately. That's crazy. The whiplash on that is crazy. It was really powerful. Man, it was really powerful. By the way, I'm saying all this really nice stuff about the team and not acknowledging the fact that you also saw a once in a generation performance in net and one of the single best performances that you will ever see from a goalie in your life. And I can talk all I want about all these photos that are coming out of Jack Hughes and with his chipped teeth and he's got the flag around him and this nasty goal that he scores, but. How about that stick save, man? I mean, all this stuff I'm saying that's like once in a lifetime and once in a generation. The odds of that stick save happening, ever being replicated again, hundreds of millions, if not billions to one. You're going to see that photo framed. I mean, they had it immediately, 10 minutes after the game ended. And they flashed that photo that you're going to see from the, like the top down angle that you're going to see forever. For the rest of forever, you will see that. And, man, it was, speaking of the broadcast though, that's another note that you got to give is just how damn good Mike Tirico was, not just today with the send off that he did after the game, that in real time, I said to Maddie, I was like, damn, Mike, like that really just gave me chills. But the whole Olympics and primetime in Milan for NBC, he's been very, very good. He's been very committed to preserving the sense of like intimacy and importance that should, and the pageantry that should come with the Olympics. You know what I mean? Like all the cool stuff that we've been seeing and all the happy moments, and you get this from every Olympics, but that's sort of the point of it, is like people just celebrating in the rawness of human achievement is really cool. And it is, I think, the most that I ever feel like a real sense of like patriotism and being like, fuck yes, I love the flag, I love the stars, I love the stripes. I love the bald eagle. The bald eagle is always cool. Even when I am upset with the country, the bald eagle is still really, really cool. I love Freebird. Hell yeah. I love the guitar solos. I love all that shit. Like, it's cool. And it's cool when our athletes go out and do cool shit. Like the Olympics, I really feel like this really did give me the exact same feeling as it did in the Summer Olympics when the men's team won gold in basketball. And, some of that was coupled with the players who actually did it. I have way more attachment to, the KDs and Stephs and LeBrons of the world than I do like, the Hughes brothers or the Kachucks or Austin Matthews or, Dylan Larkin doesn't count. And even he was great in the Olympics. He was so good all tournament. I love it, man. I love being a damn American when the Olympics are on. What else did we get though? If it's not just hockey, if we move out more broadly, I really didn't watch that much, to be honest with you. Headlines that we did not cover though: Canada cheating and curling. If the Swedes and Switzerland and whatever other, when these otherwise like massively diplomatic countries, you know what I mean, are starting to call you out for like kind of being a dickhead, like countries that otherwise kind of just like leave people alone and kind of keep to themselves. When they start calling you out for maybe potentially cheating, I don't know. I stayed out of this, so I'm just kind of just saying surface level. These are what the headlines were. Well, I'm pretty sure Canada ended up winning gold in curling anyway. So, okay, is this like a Michigan football? Is this like that kind of scandal thing? What do we got there? Lindsey Vonn. Lindsey Vonn was another. We got a lot of emails about Lindsey Vonn. And this she just was performing on a torn ACL. A lot of conversation about should she have been allowed to do that? Should she have pushed herself to do that? I just kind of stayed out of it because I didn't really feel confident. I just thought it was badass. I didn't really, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to do it, fucking go for it. If it's a sport where you can, like, all right, if you can, then like go for it. You wouldn't see like if you could be an NFL quarterback on one knee, like on a torn ACL. Like, I don't know, it wouldn't be good, and it could fuck up, like, the rest of somebody's career, but if it was the Super Bowl, and somebody was like, you know what, I need to go out there and I need to put together one drive, and I only have one knee, but you know what I mean, like, I'll be immortal, like, if I get hit, my career is over, but I don't know, if it goes well, even if my career was over and it goes well, I don't know, like, I'll be immortalized in a whole, so, like, I don't know, I think that's badass, it's probably not good for her, and, the fact that she ended up crashing like immediately, and then you get medvaced out of there on a helicopter, like real life, hospital maxing for real. Yeah, it doesn't let the raw audio of her like screaming, like that didn't, none of it felt great. Still pretty badass though. Otherwise, what was there? Man, I did a total 180 this year. on just skating in general, like figure skating and shit. I used to always think it was so dumb, man. I was like, I don't actually think there's very much beauty in this at all. I just think it's annoying. What a really weird take for that to come out of my mouth. That's not cool, and I don't even believe that at all. But I used to. Yeah, I definitely used to. No, man, I was having so much fun watching it this year because I think I just have I don't know. I guess now I just have more of an appreciation for just the physical. Well, first of all, the discipline that you have to have, and like just the control of your body that you have to have. Man, watching them wipe out, like watching them do these like super, like these super like elegant like figure skating routines and shit where they're being all like they're essentially like the real life versions of like an ice sculpture, like a swan. Does that make sense? Where it's like that. I'm only saying that because there's ice involved in both. There's otherwise really nothing. I don't really know what else there could be. I don't really know, but there's a sort of like a class to it. You know what I mean? And so watching them eat shit and then watching them realize like, well, there goes my fucking whole dream. There goes like the last like 10 years of my life, because they all kind of got the same story in the Olympics. Everybody's got the same story. They all quit 10 years ago and they swore off the Olympics and like, participating and training and whatever it is that they're pursuing. They swore it off. They were never going to do it again. And then like a newspaper clipping, blew into their house like a fucking tumbleweed and was like, we need tryouts for somebody to throw a big fucking thing. And they're like, oh, I used to do that. And, I said I'd never do it again. And they go in their closet and they dust off their big, like, unitard or some bullshit. Like, I don't know. And then they go, everybody's got the same bullshit. So I would love to see, like, where are the stories, honestly? I mean, I know they're just not getting publicized. But what percentage of the Olympics do you think are people who, for real, just had, like, awesome lives? And they never really thought about money at all, and their parents loved them, and their school was never really a problem. They kind of just like blew through it, and they're really well disciplined, or maybe they're not. Like, where are those people? You know what I mean? And then also, while we're at it, the Olympic Village, you always hear the same thing. There are kids that listen to the show. Let's not do the Olympic Village thing. What else do we see at the Olympics? That's probably it. I don't know. It was cool. It was fun, but all of it's kind of the same thing. Bobsled. I was watching some bobsled. Yeah. Yep. Watching fuckers go fast and then it's just too close to being, bobsled is just too close to being something that you would see in the Flintstones. Like it would, like that's their highway. You know what I mean? And so for that to be something that and I'm not disputing that it takes like real skill and to navigate the steering on those things. I don't know, like like controlling the. I don't know. I'm sure it takes a lot of skill, and I believe that, and I'm sure it's really intense, and I believe it's really intense. You're going 60, 70 miles an hour. But again, I just think when it's something that you would otherwise see somebody saying and like yelling yabba dabba doo at the same time, you know what I mean? Like I would see, like that's something I would see. What, like a bobsled track is something that I would see on the back of like a Fruity Pebbles box, you know what I mean? And it's like a little, like a box of cereal, the back of the box of cereal. Sometimes it's got like word puzzles or like games or some bullshit on there that you can play while you're eating you know what I'm talking about? Sometimes you're supposed to like cut out the back of the box and you can trace it and shit like that. Seems like it would be like one of those things that would be on the back of the box. And then up at maybe it's like a maze or something. Yeah, maybe it's like a maze on the back of it. And at the top of it is like Fred Flintstone, and it's like start here, and he's like in the bobsled. I don't need to keep going on this. You kind of get where I'm going with it. I'm not really sure that it should be, unless America won gold in bobsled this year, then I think it's valid and it counts. But if they didn't, then I don't know. It is also funny that the pool really is so much shorter for the Winter Olympics. Like is Zimbabwe, like, you know what I mean? Like, are they represented at the Winter Olympics? I don't really know why they would be. Like Madagascar, you don't really see them I don't know. You see these countries represented at the Olympics, like sometimes. At the Summer Olympics, like sometimes, I guess. You don't really see like where's the Chilean, doing like the ski jump? You know what I mean? Like, where's that at? Where's that? Where's somebody, I was going to say from like, well, you could say, like, I don't know, like, is there anybody from, like, Pakistan? Because they got, like, mad mountains. You know what I mean? Like, they got, like, big mountain ranges in the Middle East, so that would make sense. And like, yeah, I guess some of those like sort of the ones that are like kind of like on the cusp of like Asia and like the Middle East. I read something the other day, and I don't know if this was from somebody who is just like it's just one of those online people. So I didn't know if I should listen to this. I guess I can pose this to the crowd. Is it true that if you say Middle East, that's like colonizer speak? What's the history on that? They didn't elaborate on it at all in like typical internet fashion. They just kind of like dropped it like a grenade. They're like, hey, by the way, like they were one of those like, hey, just so you know, ass bitches. You know what I mean? Like, hey, so hope this helps kind of thing. Actually, when you say Middle East, it refers to like some colloquialism of it's colonizer speak, and that you're supposed to refer to it as West Asia. And it's just, but I was like, isn't that already kind of its own thing? It doesn't matter. You don't typically see these countries represented in the Olympics. And I understand why. But does it not, I don't want to say it cheapens the gold. No, I don't think it does, because it just means that the talent pool that does exist, it really is going to be the best of the best. I mean, there's only so much space on that mountain for people to train. You know what I mean? So I guess it doesn't really cheapen it at all. There's just sort of the pools are just different. Does that mean technically though that the Winter Olympics would be more, would quote unquote be more talented? There's no way to measure this. But I would say like, look, anybody can run. You know what I mean? Anybody can train to like run anywhere. And also like, I'm sure like being in different climates, like, yeah, it gives you different like advantages. But like, I don't know, anybody can run. Anybody can learn how to ski, but not everybody will have the infrastructure to learn how to ski. That kind of goes to, there's a question, honestly, or an answer to my question from earlier, which was like, where are all those people that were just like, nope, trust fund kid for real, and I just won gold. Like, what now? I guess it is sort of, the Winter Olympics are sort of like you would assume are the sort of richer of because even hockey, like you can't, you know what I mean? Like Summer Olympics, basketball and soccer. Well, the reason that those are the two most popular sports in the world is because anybody can do them. You don't have to, there's the barrier of entry is like, do you have a ball and either a hoop or a net? You know what I mean? Great. Then you can start doing it. Running, like 500 meters. Just go. Just go. You know what I mean? Just go outside and go. You can start doing that anywhere. Skiing, you can't really just like start doing that, Snowboarding, can't really start doing that. Bobsled, how the fuck do you even start doing that? How do you even start doing that? That's like Ivy League shit. You know what I mean? Like, how do you even start doing that? Hockey, yeah, that one toes a line of like, if you live in, you know what I mean? Like if you live in like Saskatchewan or something, yeah, well, when every winter, I don't really know how often their shit is freezing over, but you know what I mean? Depending on where you live, you could have nothing to your name, and you could still play hockey to some extent. But if you want to actually, you know what I mean? If you want to actually get into it, and you got puck dreams, well, it's going to cost you a lot of money. It's the same thing. Like, that's why it's so hard to do soccer in America, is because the barrier of entry is so high. Because just the teams that you have to play for, and like I don't want to make this a whole different thing. Well, I say I don't want to make it a completely different thing, but also at the same time, saying all these different countries and just thinking about different parts of the world did remind me. So let me set the stage here. This is a super hard departure. The Olympics are done. It was really fun. The United States did really well. The hockey gold medal, in both cases, men's and women's. I mean, it means a lot. It feels amazing. Really, really happy. That was the Olympics. Okay, so we're even fewer hours removed from this report coming out on Sunday morning that in a military operation that was conducted between the Mexican and United States armies, they took out a big bad guy in one of the Mexican cartels. They took out like a senior like leader, official, whatever the fuck. They took out a big bad guy in the cartel. And that cartel responded by just like going nuts, going wild, just like doing crazy shit, blowing shit up. There's one video of them, like these two dudes like roll up to a gas station while a bunch of people are getting gas. And they just like walk up to them and they're like, hey, like get back in your car and like fuck off. And then they just start like They just start like dousing the whole place with the gasoline. They just, use a little nozzle thing. They start, and then they light it on fire and they leave. Just causing a bunch of destruction, a bunch of ruckus, a bunch of bullshit like that. And really scary. A lot of messaging. So this is what the reporting has been, is that messaging has gone out on, from the cartels themselves saying, hey, just stay inside because we're about to destroy everything. We're about to cause a lot of damage, about to make a lot of noise, and probably going to get into some gunfights with some military personnel and perhaps some local authorities. So just stay in your house, because if you're outside, you're going to die. If you're in our way, you're going to die. So just stay in your house until we have the situation under control. That was the Telegram message that was publicized, right? So we're kind of watching all this unfold in the background of what has otherwise been an interesting day for sports, I guess. This has kind of been this tab has been open, right, in my mind. And then an hour ago, we get this email. copinghoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically, email available in the description wherever it is that you listen to this program. This email came into us from Aiden. Aiden, I hope you're listening to this. Welcome to the show. Subject line, I'm in Puerto Vallarta. Hey, Nick. So the subject is slightly misleading. I'm not in Puerto Vallarta, but I am in a resort about 45 minutes away. Regardless, I am close enough to everything that's going on right now, and hopefully I'm the only coper who is. We were supposed to fly home today. Obviously, that did not end up happening. I'm extremely thankful that our flights were scheduled when they were, because had they been 2 hours earlier, we, and then in parentheses, he specified, me, my lady, parents, and little sister, we would have all been at the airport when all this cartel shit went down. Local time is 6:10 p.m., and we are all fine. Just hanging out at the airport, which is also seemingly normal so far. If you didn't have any access to the internet, you might not even know that anything was going on, which I guess is a good thing. There's even a wedding going on right now. No clue when we'll be able to get back home. I don't think there is need for concern for us tourists on this resort, but nevertheless, it's hard not to be concerned while keeping updated on the situation as it's happening. Lots of fear-mongering floating around out there. You say lots of fear-mongering floating around out there, I think. And then in parentheses, you said hope. Lots of fear. Oh, so you're saying you hope that it's just fear-mongering and not the real thing. Yeah, no, for sure. You say the worst platform for it is Instagram. They're saying some crazy shit over there, like, quote, they're only sparing the children, unquote, versus Reddit is basically just like, quote, stay inside and it'll be fine, unquote. Yeah, so I think I just sort of tipped my hand there at which one I was reading all of this shit on. I was reading this on Reddit, minutes after. I was like, yeah, they were all just basically like, just stay inside. Yep. Seems like I was receiving the softer end of intel here, brother. Let's finish this up, though. You say, I don't know. I just feel that protective factor as the only dude in their prime in my family group that's here. That's such a funny. I really admire. You're like, this is such a hashtag like dude brain moment, and I totally get what you're doing here, and I really rock with it. I think we all do the same thing, where you sort of make, in moments of crisis like this, physical assessments of those around you. And for you, in this moment of uncertainty where you seem like you're handling it really well, to be honest, all things considered, you're not like, it's not happening right outside your door. There's a good distance between you and what's happening, but you're still very close to it. You say you hope you're the only coper that's there. Yeah, brother, I would imagine you are. I hope so too. But in this moment, you're like, it's just the way you say it. I'm the only one here in my prime. It's just funny, man. Let's finish this. It's kind of tough to think about anything else because I know that realistically there's nothing I could do if shit was to go down. Just have to hope that it doesn't. A more realistic worry that I have is that food/supplies can't come into the resort, and that might start to get ugly if we're all here for a few more days. I'll keep providing updates if there's anything to update on. for now, just coping with my current predicament. Thanks, man. From Aiden. Well, brother, first and foremost, I just want to say, hey, we all hope that this works out and that you'll be fine. I really think you're going to be fine. I think, it seems like, again, all things considered, it seems like you're handling things well. Just try not to scroll too much. Especially on like Instagram, like you can, if you're on your phone to like look up actual news about what's happening and like real updates, that's one thing. But I feel you feel helpless. I feel helpless because I see something like this and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? It would be like if somebody emailed the show and they're like, I'm being trafficked. I'd be like, but they don't give me any other information. I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed? It's a terrible example. You just send that to the police and you're like, hey, here's this email. You do the rest. Somebody said that's all that I would have to do there. I'm not going to call I could call the local authorities to come check on you. I'd say maybe they got their hands full right now. And I don't really want that, because then what does it look like if that got back to that wouldn't look bad if I was calling a Mexican resort to that wouldn't look bad. I think it's so where are you on like the southwest side of Mexico? I think you're facing the Pacific Ocean right now. Well, that's nice at least. That's pretty nice at least. I feel bad. Other than just like reaffirming your thought of, I think we're going to be fine. I agree with you. Other than doing that, I just kind of wanted to read it as like hey, sometimes we have people who listen to the show who are just in crazy places when weird stuff is happening. This is a crazy place to be. Something crazy is happening and one of you guys are just like around it. That's crazy. The last one I think that was just like out of this world bizarre to me was the guy who in September was and still is a student at Utah Valley University and was on the bus, like on campus when Charlie Kirk got killed. And he, like the first thing that he did was to like immediately wrote into the show. I don't think the news had been out for 30 minutes and that guy wrote into the show being like, hey, I'm a student here and Charlie Kirk just got killed at my school. I think that's the last one. You know what I mean? That's like on this level of like, holy shit, somebody. And so I think just for those purposes, and then also, I was going to make a mean joke and be like, well, if something happens to you, at least we have but nothing's going to happen to you. I don't even want to put that into your head right now. Cause this is I realized this was, in a week when you're back home and everything's fine, then it'll already be hilarious. You know what I mean? But right now I can understand maybe you don't have a great sense of humor about it. The second that even you get on that plane, you're gonna feel so much better about it, and it's just a matter of time until you get there. Hey, something else. You want to talk about crazier stuff? Even crazier stuff than a guy who, I just feel I don't want to undermine it and be like, yeah, I guess he's not right there while all this shit is happening. He is, 45 minutes away. Because you are 45 minutes away, like you're literally gonna be fine. But then again, it sounds like I'm underselling. Like, yeah, it's still scary though. Let me just fucking go on to the next thing. Just go on to the next thing. Hey, so we've gotten a couple emails about this. copingourselves@gmail.com, spelled phonetically. Email available in the description wherever it is that you listen to this program. So, like a week and a half ago, Obama was doing a podcast. And the interviewer was doing rapid fire questions. He was just asking Obama a bunch of stuff. And he goes, hey, aliens, are they real? And Obama goes, they're real, but I haven't seen them. And that was kind of it. Now, when he said that, I don't know. I was just kind of like, yeah, I mean, yeah. He's just sort of saying it because it's like, we know, like in some form, whatever that means, like they're real. But I haven't met them yet, right? I mean, what the fuck is he gonna say? You know what I mean? But then, and I'm gonna do the full timeline on this thing. So, but then, I started to think to myself, when this whole disclosure thing happens, which it one day in some form will, but I don't know really how that's gonna look. Like, I just think, oh man, I just realized how I'm about to sound. So I'm trying to reel this in real time because this is just such a strange departure from what we were just talking about. I'm really about to go like fucking crazy here. Like crazy, just like sounding nuts. How do I want to do this? I don't know. I think that there's gonna be a day where like we do learn something insane about something else that's out there. And it is sort of crazy to think that that could happen like in our lifetime. And it's even crazier to think that that could happen this year. But, you know, people have been saying, oh, it's going to happen this year forever, you know, for the last 100 years since this has become like a real phenomenon. You know, people have always said that. Well, there are just reasons why it seems like maybe we're getting close to learning something. Because you're now seeing people in the government who are like real state representatives who are being used as like information vessels for this stuff. Like, what is his name? Dave Burchett? What the fuck is that guy's name? I think he's from South Carolina. He's like been a big guy. He's been like a big a voice in this space, which is a little too bad because he's otherwise kind of a fucking knucklehead. But he takes the alien shit seriously and this UAP stuff like really seriously. And he's been the one saying that there's like underwater bases for like a year now, but all those like clips and him saying it again recently has like really kind of started to come out. And so Obama's saying this. I was like, wow, I wonder if like him saying that is like a sort of a soft form of disclosure, just like hearing it from the president's mouth. Like somebody at the CIA was like, hey, just say this. And like, we just want to see like how people react to it. You know what I mean? And then, like, there's also been, I'm not trying to take anything that Laura Loomer says, like, at face value. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to say anything. Do you hear what Laura Loomer said? No, I just think it's weird that she would otherwise say this. So this was, like, I don't know, a month ago that she started to say, and then other, you know, right-wing grifters started to, like, they just started to mouthpiece it and amplify it, that Trump has a speech that's written and prepared and could be read at any moment, but is going to be read in July. Confirming the life, the existence of, what is it? NHI, non-human intelligence, confirming that aliens are real. That speech is written and it's done and he could give it at any moment, but it's probably, so there's really, okay, that's the thing. What the fuck? Now you're going to hear that and immediately say like, well, that's just because they're trying to throw insane shit out there to distract from the Epstein files and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, first of all, yes, I can't dismiss that as like a thing that is definitely possibly true. And where I'm going to end up later when I just say, let's just fucking get there now. There's just more stuff that keeps happening. So like this Obama thing, I immediately thought like, I don't know, like maybe this is like some sort of soft form of disclosure. And then I was thinking about like maybe that Trump thing was kind of like a form. So I'm just kind of like starting to like connect some dots here. And listen, I'm sorry, man. Where I'm going with all of this is if you want to say that there's only like kind of been some alien stuff out. And then by the way, Obama came out and was like, oh, I fucking was just saying that the universe is so big and blah, blah, blah. And I was not saying that I know for a fact that aliens are real. I'm just assuming they are. He like backtracked on the whole thing. So like, okay, like, all right, whatever. I'm just saying, like, okay, if you want to believe that the only reason that like the United States government is entertaining alien shit now, and Trump going on True Social and being like, I'm gonna declassify a whole bunch of shit about UFOs and UAPs and all this stuff, the only reason he's doing that is to distract from the whole Epstein files and blah 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 blah. I'm not gonna, again, it's impossible for me to disagree with you, but what I would say is that I also think it stinks that the alien stuff and whatever does come out of this, because like, I don't know, this isn't the first time. We just kind of like be pressuring him into like releasing other shit that we've like wanted to know about in lieu of us getting any information or like names or like concrete, you know, like whatever about who's in these videos, clearly. With you know, Jeffrey Epstein and all this bullshit. I guess kind of. I mean, yeah, he released JFK files and we learned new stuff, but not anything about the actual assassination itself. And then he was like, here are the MLK files. And then he did those. And then we really didn't learn anything new there. And then now he wants to do alien stuff. I think there was another thing in there that I'm not thinking of, but now he wants to do alien stuff. Okay, so like, I'm sure maybe like we'll learn some stuff, but it's just bullshit to me that this is just being used as a token in the greater economy of information. You know what I mean? That this is something that they just know that they have in their back pocket, and that if they just dump a bunch of shit to us, we'll get distracted by the alien butterflies, and we'll look somewhere else for a culture. The Eye of Sauron will look away at something else, at a goddamn butterfly, for a week and a half until a damn false flag attack happens that draws us into a long campaign, a large scale goddamn operation in Iran or something like that, and then we're never gonna get to the bottom of anything. I also think it stinks, honestly, really stinks, that when and if he does release stuff about aliens, how that will just be perceived because it's true that it will be a massive net negative for the larger disclosure movement. I think that's going to stink, because you can't trust anything that this guy says. You can't trust anything that his administration puts out. You immediately assume that it's fucking bullshit the second that he says it. And so even if we do learn stuff, like, I don't know, man, it's just gonna stink, and it's gonna make people. I don't know. I was going to say it's going to make people who believe in aliens, like, it's going to make them seem even stupider. This isn't fucking Independence Day, bro. Like that crazy alien guy from Independence Day. Like, those people aren't crazy anymore. Those people are in the government. For real, those people are in the government. That was Marjorie Taylor Greene for the last 10 fucking years. Those are elected officials now. Those are like your representatives in the government. That crazy guy from Independence Day who gets killed by the alien. Those people are in the government. They're the feds. I think this just stinks. All of this stinks. And I think it stinks that a lot of you guys email in, and it's like, hey, isn't it strange that there's just not more outrage about the Epstein shit? I completely agree with you. And it's hard to walk the line on this show and just sometimes spend, 20 minutes talking about it and getting fired up. And then also just not doing it for 2 episodes, because it kind of needs to be. I really think it needs to be people's not entire lives, but I just think it should kind of be the only thing that we're talking about right now, at all. And so the ensuing culture wars that are gonna erupt over the next, and whatever we're gonna do in Iran, man, whatever we're gonna do over there, this massive mobilization effort that's been occurring over the last 3 weeks. And really spiked in this last week. Something's going to go on over there. I was sending a bunch of texts a couple days ago. I was like, I think I'm officially on false flag watch. And I don't know where I am in the world, but anything that happens, that any major or minor or massive casualty event that occurs that directly draws the United States into a conflict with Iran in what would all but certainly be a joint operation with the Israeli military. Anything that happens that escalates that little standoff that's happening right now and leads to a full-scale war, I'm just going to throw the flag on immediately. Immediately, I'm going to say something fucked up happened there, and I think we can all probably see through it. I'm just keeping an eye on for something like that. Now, I don't think any of us believe that the government would need if I can get away with using this word without knowing how to say it or how to use it, I don't think we would need the provocation of a fake terrorist attack, of a false flag, to go in there and, bomb some, I don't know, who knows, maybe bomb the fucking Ayatollah. Who knows what's going to happen. When it seems like something is, and then we're going to have to listen to Trump talk for 2 hours on Tuesday night, and who knows if we'll have done anything by then. Maybe we won't do anything. Maybe this is all just, just massive saber rattling, and who knows, by the time you're listening to this, maybe, by the next time you hear from me, maybe we'll know. I don't know. It's just, you talk about the alien stuff. I can at least, there's juice. I still have juice for it. It's I wouldn't even call it conspiracy anymore, but you know what I mean? Just as a subculture of, just the people who believe, I can still get on board with that stuff and read the shit that I know probably isn't true. And it doesn't really bother me. So I'm I don't know. It's still fun. I don't know. It's still fun. I can get on that, but like, I just feel so with the Epstein shit, or, when it comes to what the fuck, whatever we're going to do in Iran. Yeah, you just feel so demoralized. A lot of emails about that too. If it's not like the two emails I think that we get the most are like, hey, I'm at a weird point in my life where I'm 22 and I don't know what to do with my life and I'm sad. We get a lot of those, or like, hey, I just am doom scrolling a lot and I want to kill myself. Like, what should I do? Those are the two that we get the most. Yeah, I'm in one of those ruts right now. I mean, I'm good when the killing myself thing. I don't need to do that, but I am just, you just read a little bit too much, and then you see Cartel in the locker room in Milan celebrating with the United States after they won gold. Okay. Really, man, just what a lame guy. Cannot think of a more lame guy to be to be celebrating anything with. I mean, I don't know, unless you're like celebrating that you found like a youth medium jacket or something that you can outfit him with, like, but otherwise, man, like, I don't know. Let's wrap up the show, folks. copinghoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically. Email available in the description wherever it is that you listen to this program. Right, yeah. This is going to be a weird way to end the show. It's going to be kind of hostile, a little bit aggro by me. Let's debut a new segment called Ragebaited. Let's appeal to the youth of the Coping Hour, and let's introduce rage baiting into the show. In this segment, I will be reading an email that got my ass. It got me. Ooh, I was so mad. I started to reply. I was so mad. Oh, and then I just, after like 10 minutes, I cooled off, and I was like, fucking whatever. And then I was like, what? I'll get out how not mad I am about this now, on the show. In the last episode, I'm just trying to set the stage here. In the last episode, I said, I'm just trying to remember what I said. I just keep giving the Knicks credit for getting Jose Alvarado. I think he's going to be such a massive piece for them when it really matters, and when they're deep into a playoff series. Like, that is the guy that you want on your team. And he fits the team, he fits the city perfectly. I wanted him to be a Piston really bad, especially for how little he went for. But the truth is, he does fit the Knicks better. It's a perfect player for them, and it was fantastic business, and I was really upset about it. So that's what I said, right? And I know I'm right, by the way. There's so much subjectivity on this show. 90% of what I say is subjectivity. There be some shit that I'm saying that I don't think you can, and we all do this. Like, there are some things that you just say as a person that is not opinion. It's just true, even if it is presented as opinion. Me saying Jose Alvarado is perfect for the culture and for the actual basketball of the team and the city is not opinion. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? So it's already happening. I'm not mad about this. I just wanted to, and I haven't even read the damn email yet, but let's do it now because it's from Brian. Brian, welcome back to the show. And the subject line is Alvarado. Brian said the same guy that was out of his mind excited about the Monty Williams signing in Detroit is who is now wildly provocative about Alvarado in New York. Listen, motherfucker. There was not I'm so mad about this because it's such a bad faith take is why it bothers me. It's bad. It was not sent in good faith because there's nothing that bothers me more than revisionist history. And this is revision at its finest. That's what this is. This is a fucking Picasso of revision. Because when Monty Williams was signed, you know who was upset about it? The people who wanted like Kevin Ollie, and that was kind of it. That was kind of it. Everybody else, what were they saying? Oh, home run. It was a home run. It was the indication that of a team that was taking itself seriously. Like, two things can be true. That it ended up being like one of the single worst like handicap moments, like self-inflicted, like shoot yourself in the foot moments, that a team could have possibly had in a rebuilding moment. Like, I mean, I really can't think of any other examples off the top of my head, but like a team that was ready to turn the corner and then they slipped on 10 banana peels and like they slipped on so many that they actually went backwards around the previous corner. You know what I mean? Like, that is true. But what is also true is that everybody fucking loved the Monty Williams thing. Now, if you're saying that it is prophetic in some ways, that I am super on board with the Jose Alvarado thing, and that it in some ways it paints a picture of a dark omen. If that's what you're saying, and that even though I'm excited about it now, all that it means is that it's destined to crash and burn, and likening it to the Monty Williams thing, I guess I can't argue, because I don't know. I don't have a time machine. I don't know. Maybe you'll be right about that. But then I just think that it erases what we know about Jose Alvarado. Unless, of course, you're just saying, well, it's the Knicks, and you know what I mean? Well, I can't really argue that. I guess I can't, damn it, I can't argue that either. I don't have a time machine, so I don't really know. But let's not do this thing that makes me look like the asshole. Like I was the fucking Where's Waldo who was like, oh my God, we got Monty Williams. Everybody was like, oh my God, I can't believe that we got Monty. You know what I mean? That we got Monty Williams. Ragebaited. It worked. And the worst part about it is this guy has his name, his first and last name, is the exact same as a guy that I went to school with. And that guy, like, didn't fuck with me at all. He didn't like me. And so, anytime this guy emails in, I click the picture. I'm like, is this him? It's not him. I don't think it's you. I don't think we went to school together, but it's spelled the exact same. And it's a last name that I've otherwise never come across in my life. So it was just very strange. You know, I did have a kid once. You want to talk about kids in school that didn't like me? Oy, oof. I was just thinking about this the other day. There was a guy, I don't know, maybe like we were like 11 or something, and he was in my neighborhood, and there were a couple kids in my neighborhood that I went to school with, but we weren't really friends. Like we rode the bus together, and like that was kind of it, but I don't know, like we just weren't really friends. We just were in the same grade. But like one of the times I was hanging out with one of them, and like, well, two of the kids in my neighborhood that I otherwise didn't really hang out with. And this one kid was always just like kind of weird around me. Like he was just kind of fucking weird. And even as an 11-year-old, I was like, I don't think this guy likes me very much. Like I don't know what the cues were. I was like, I just don't think he likes me. And I think one day, just as an 11-year-old, where you're just kind of like, whatever, I'll just ask the question. Like, I don't know. I was like, hey, you don't like me very much, do you? And he looked at me, and then he kind of looked away, and he shook his head. He's like, not really. Just like that. Just kind of like, okay. I think that was the last time. And to this day, it bothers me. Because I really didn't do anything. I always went out of my way to like be like a certain, like, just like, well, maybe he saw through that. Maybe he saw through that I was like trying too hard. Maybe he did. I don't know. I don't have a time machine. It's impossible to argue that. I don't know. Otherwise, people who didn't like me, well, if they didn't like me, like people in Maddie's, because Maddie was 2 grades above me. The mother of my child was 2 grades above me. And so guys in her grade they didn't like me. But like from like a bullying perspective, I got a wedgie one time. You know, like it was real, like Brady Bunch, like Cosby Show type shit, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air style. I got a wedgie that went over a fence. And so I'm just trying to think of like scale. So like at the time, I don't know, I was in probably like 6th grade. So like I was like 11 or 12 maybe. And I wouldn't have been that old, like maybe like 10 or 11. And my brother and his friend, we were outside, and we had a fence that if I was like, what did I say? Like 10 or 11. So what are you, like 4'9" or something? We'll say I was 5 foot, even though I wasn't. So if I was 5 foot, the fence was probably like 8 feet. So, you know what I mean? So I got my underwear like pulled that, and then I was just like hanging from and they looked like, they were the shape of tighty whities, but they were like Washington Redskins or Commanders colors. So like they were red, but like the lining was yellow. I'm really painting a vivid picture for you here. And it was a wood fence, and I got hung over it. But it wasn't because they didn't like me. That was just on some for the love of the game. They just needed to get that out of their system, and I was the kid, so they just were like, we got to give this kid a wedgie. It's not like I got swirlies and shit like that. I mean, I don't want to say that doesn't happen and that was never a thing that happened, but it is certainly a lost art. And I don't know when the art was lost, because swirlies were depicted through media as like a thing that happens to you in high school, or maybe depending on, what it is, like middle school, like that the big bully is going to stuff your head in the toilet and, you know what I mean, and flush it. Even while that was still being portrayed on television and, when I was a kid, like it wasn't really a thing that I feared. I feared being shoved into a locker. For sure. I remember going to middle school was the first time that we had, like combination lockers. Good Lord, I remember being so scared about that. I was late to my first day of 6th grade, my first day of middle school. I was late to my class because I couldn't figure out how to get upstairs. I couldn't figure out where the stairs were. So I'm just walking around. I'm in tears, bro. I was in tears. And I asked like an aide. I was like, can you point me to the nearest staircase? And I walked into that class late with my dumb bald ass head. And it was the only time in my life that I was ever late to a class, but I don't even think that counts. I don't think that counts. I don't know if I've ever told this story before. When I was a kid, there was a day where my brother and I missed the bus. And instead of walking in the house, it's like we walked out on the front porch and we were walking down the steps and the bus was turning the corner and leaving. We're like, fuck. So instead of just walking back up the steps and walking in the house and being like, hey, Mom, we just missed the bus. Can you drive us to school? The bus turns the corner and drives away, and my brother turns around and he looks at me and he goes, we got to go. And he turns back around and he starts fucking running. I'm like, okay, well, he's my older brother, and I'm in, I was what, 7th grade? I'm a teenager. It's my older brother. Like, what am I going to do? Like, not? I'm like, okay. We live probably like, I don't know, it's probably like 3.5 miles, maybe 3.5, 4 miles away. And so we ran. We ran to school that day, and then I don't even think we told our mom when we got home that day that that's what happened. I don't remember when she found out about it. But we were like, yeah, she's like, why the fuck did you not just come back in the house and ask me? We're like, I don't know. We were scared. We didn't want to ask you. In retrospect, that was real. I don't know if you guys felt that. Spotify, maybe Spotify can chime in on that. I mean, anybody can chime in on this, but when your parents were sleeping as a kid, were you scared to wake them up? I'm saying that out loud. That's interesting. Was I scared to wake them up? Because one of the reasons why we didn't wake our mom up, I don't think my brother would say this, but yeah, I didn't like waking her up when she was asleep. I don't know if it was because I don't really remember her getting mad. Maybe she would. Maybe she, like, what the fuck? Like, what do you want? Like, I don't know. My dad would have been like that, I think. Like, what do you want? I think I could tell you exactly when the last time I woke my dad up was. It was 2006. I think it was 2006. My brother and I were playing 2K5 on the PS2. And we found out that Magic Johnson went to Michigan State. We had no idea. We knew who Magic Johnson was, but we didn't know he went to Michigan State. And so we sprint into the bedroom. Our dad was asleep. We're like, Dad, did you know Magic Johnson went to Michigan State? And he was like, yes. And then he was like, yes. And that was kind of it. But his tone was like, please get out. So we did. I don't think I ever woke my dad up again after that. So maybe, yeah, maybe. Man, what a cool moment that was for us, though, finding out that Magic went to Michigan State. Holy shit, that rocked. Yeah, I wouldn't say I was... Maybe I would say I was reluctant to wake them up because I wouldn't get hit. I think I only ever got hit once. It was because we got hit because we peed in the sandbox like cats. I don't remember how old we were. I mean, we were young and we were just playing in the sandbox at home. It wasn't like a public one. So that's an important detail, I feel like. Because if it was like we're at the park and there are other kids, or even if there's not, there's terrible etiquette to let your kid pee in the, you know what I mean? What the fuck? It was in our own backyard, our own personal sandbox. And we were playing in it and we peed in it like cats, or like dogs or whatever, like you lift your leg. Like that's what we did. And then I remember going in the house and I was hiding under the bed and my brother was sitting on the bed. My dad came in and whipped his ass. But I was under the bed and I didn't think he knew I was under there. And so he whipped Matthew's ass, and then I don't remember if he was like, where is she? Where's Rachel? Like, but, like, where's Nick? I don't remember how he found out where I was, but I do remember him being like, get the fuck out from under the bed. And then I came out and I got my ass whipped, and then probably went outside and pissed in the sandbox again. I don't remember. Probably something like that. All right, folks. Yeah, Spotify. I don't know. Were you... Or I could flip it like this too. If you don't want to be like, no, I wasn't scared to wake my parents up. What the fuck? Because you're not going to answer it if the answer is no. Or I don't know. Some of you listening to this are parents. What is it when your kid wakes you up? What does that feel like? When my kid wakes me up now, usually it's not. Well, I don't take that many naps. And if I do, because I don't have the time. But if I do, it's when he's napping. So he can't wake me up. Well, that's not true. He wakes me up from my naps because he wakes up from his before mine. It's annoying, but that's not really what I'm talking about here because he's a kid and like he doesn't like wake me up being like, Dad, I just shit my pants. That doesn't happen. Although I got to tell you, gee whiz, man. So the other day, my son is at an age, he's almost 2. We're almost there. He's like 22 months right now. So he's almost 2. And we're at a point where he can be in the other room and it's okay. Like if something's on the TV, like I'm just watching TV or something and he walks away and like I know what room he went into, like I can hear him like, and I'm like, okay, yeah, there's nothing in there that he's gonna, I'm like, okay, yeah, he can be in there. That's fine. And he's like, good kid. He doesn't do anything. Well, he is also doing this thing now where when he poops, he like, sometimes he just wants privacy. Like he'll go into a separate room. And if you like walk in there, he'll be like, oh, he'll like shoo you away. And then he like goes like, and that's him showing that he's pushing. And we're like, okay, he's pooping and he wants to be alone. I'm like, okay. So the other day I hadn't like heard him or like seen him for a minute. And Maddie was at work. It was just me and him. And I was like, so I just like went looking for him. I'm like, where the fuck is he? What is he doing? And I walk in the bedroom and he's doing the thing. He's pooping. I'm like, okay, baby, like go ahead, get it all out and I'll come change you in a minute. And then like, I don't know, like 5 minutes go by maybe. And he runs out into the living room and just kind of stops and he stares at me. And I turn around, I'm looking at him and I can tell that something's wrong, but I can't tell what it is. I'm looking at him. I'm like, what's different right now? And then it hits me. He's not wearing pants and he's not wearing his diaper. So I was like, what the fuck? What's going on here? I out loud, as I realize what's going on, that he's like he's naked basically. I sit up and involuntarily I go, what the fuck? I go, where are your pants? And as I say that, he starts laughing and he turns around and starts running the other way. But while he was running the other way, I noticed that all over his butt was poop. He got his shit all over his ass, man. So he's running the opposite direction. I'm like, what the fuck? Now I'm like terrified that he's going to get up on the bed. You know what I mean? He's going to get poop everywhere. So I go into I get him, I wrangle him. I get him all cleaned up. I get him in I find out what happened. The diapers that he was wearing was just a little bit too big for him. So when it just had like a little bit too much, this is what pissed me off though, because it wasn't that much time. So he woke up at like 6 o'clock that day, maybe. So he got changed at 6 o'clock in the morning. This happened at like 8:30. So by 8:30, there was like, he had peed so much and the diaper was so heavy that I'm just like, it just had to have been too big. The diaper was so heavy in 2.5 hours that it was so heavy that it fell off and took his pants off. Because the way that his pants were, I'm explaining this too much. I'm telling you that I know that that's what happened. He did not take these off. Like this just happened. They just completely fell off. And thank God that he came out to, I guess, show me that this happened. Oh my God. We avoided disaster narrowly. There was no errant poop streaks on anything. That didn't happen. I'm trying to think of anything else that's no, there's no real, that's the closest call that we've had with poop for sure. But okay, folks, if you're Spotify, I've probably a question there for you. Apple Podcasts, what's up? If you're listening to this on YouTube, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, nice little comment for the algorithm. Make sure to keep primary control in check. And I will catch you guys in the next one.
Beautiful.